You might want to keep a closer eye on your car. With the price of gas skyrocketing, fuel thieves could be out to steal your gas right out of your tank.
Protesters are demanding accountability. After San Jose police shoot a man multiple times near the San Jose State campus, witnesses say he was a good Samaritan.
Praying for peace and unity at Stanford's Memorial Church. Coming up next, a Taizé prayer service was offered for people to gather and unite to pray for Ukraine and its people.
From the School of Journalism and Mass Communications at San Jose State University, your source for what's happening with a fresh perspective on today's issues. You're watching Update News.
Welcome to Update News. I'm Allison Cruz.
And I'm Sulma Kanawi. San Jose community members are demanding police reform and accountability. They did so at a rally at City Hall. The rally was in response to San Jose police shooting a young man multiple times last week. Witnesses say he was actually a good Samaritan who had just disarmed a gunman. It happened at a restaurant just 1 block from the San Jose State campus. Reporter Jesus Dalitud has that story and the latest on the police response.
Protesters rallied at San Jose City Hall Friday afternoon following a controversial police shooting. Last week, officers opened fire on uanGreen, a 20-year-old student athlete from Contra Costa College. They shot him 4 times, in the stomach, arm, and knee. Surveillance video shows Green disarming a man with a gun during a fight at La Victoria Taqueria. When police arrived, they saw Green holding the man's gun. Hero Tent, a non-profit human rights activist organization based in San Jose, organized a protest to support Green's family and speak out on what they see as ongoing police brutality.
Police violence against Black people didn't start and it didn't end in 2020. Every single instance that happens in our city, San Jose, we have to stand up against that. And uanGreen didn't deserve that. He did not deserve to be shot 4 times by the police.
Officers gave repeated commands to drop the gun. However, the individual does not drop the gun, and one officer shot more than 1 time, striking the individual. The individual was transported to a local hospital for non-life-threatening injuries.
Contrary to Mata's statement, Green's attorney, Adante Pointer, said his client was not given an opportunity to comply. While the investigation continues, community members are keeping the pressure on SJPD. They point to what they say is a pattern of police misconduct.
I think it's to call attention to a constant repeating history that leaves a lot of people unraveled every time it happens. There's a lot of trauma that goes into these spaces. As you can see, there's a lot of names of family members who have died at the hands of SJPD.
I want people to feel safe in this country. I want people to know that the people who are supposed to be protecting them will be the ones protecting them and won't be the ones pulling the trigger.
In San Jose, Jesus Dalitud, Update News.
Even after President Biden released fuel from the country's reserves, gas prices remain high. Some criminals are going the extra mile to get gas, your gas. They're stealing fuel no matter that it's unsafe and they think risking getting caught. Reporter Rodri Smith has the story.
For some of these thieves are very brazen. In Sacramento, they stole gas from a probation officer's cars that were parked in a secure lot. Gas in California is officially more than $6 a gallon, and it could top $7. Many people are struggling to fill their tanks and are strategically planning their outings so they don't risk wasting gas. Emily Santa Cruz says to make ends meet, she only buys $20 of gas at a time.
On my own, I gotta budget my money all the time. If I don't even fill up my tank anymore. I go $20 wherever I can, if I almost went, I think when I went to work, I was on 3 miles left before I was like, gotta fill her up.
Fuel thieves are not concerned with how much gas is in your car. They're more concerned about how much they can take out without getting caught. Anthony Perez explains one tactic gas thieves use on older model cars.
But the most popular one is using simply a clear tube and sticking it down the gas tank, and the other half in a gas tank, a portable gas bucket or gas container. And what they're doing is they're sucking out external pressure in from the hose and creating a vacuum.
It then goes from gas containers into their tanks. It's more complicated with newer model cars, so some fuel thieves resort to drilling a hole into your gas tank. Some that can be very dangerous. Drivers already frustrated with the raising of gas prices discover that now they have to deal with fuel thieves.
We all have issues with gas prices right now, so obviously stealing in general is not good, and it's against the law, but to be doing it knowing that everybody else is struggling in the same way that you are, that's totally not right.
As prices go up, so does the crime. You may want to consider investing in a gas cap lock to ensure you are not the next victim. In San Jose, I'm Rodri Smith, Update News.
When classes returned to in-person on the San Jose State campus, many students were excited about it. But a group of SJSU students is fighting to keep hybrid and online learning as an option for disabled and immunocompromised students. Reporter Christian Trujano has that story.
Keep SJSU Hybrid is a group of 15 student organizers who all have the same goal, helping disabled and immunocompromised students feel safe. So far, they've gathered more than 3,400 signatures from SJSU students, faculty, and staff. The petition calls for the administration to keep hybrid classes.
We're doing this for our community, for the health of our community, for our family, our disabled and immunocompromised members, as well as in a way for our own health too.
I'm worried for my little one as COVID is infecting babies too. I request you to please continue with fully online classes.
During a protest in the SJSU administration building and Clark Hall on March 25th, Liz, who does not want us to use her real last name, led a protest with the group organizers. They read testimonials from those who shared why they believe SJSU should keep hybrid classes. But the group says the administration told them 70% of classes will return to in-person next semester. The university provided Update News with the following statement where at the end it reads, supporting remote and in-person instruction simultaneously poses logistical and facility challenges. We are in the process of evaluating these needs as part of our planning for fall instruction. However, organizers say this is still a fight for disability justice.
San Jose State University is not a homogeneous campus. We are incredibly diverse, and diversity does include disabled individuals.
Other SJSU organizations like Student Homeless Alliance say this goal aligns with their issues. They have students who might not have the luxury of attending in-person classes.
There's no real reason to be going to a lecture room that can be easily done through like a live stream or through Zoom that we've been doing for the past few years.
For now, the administration says it plans to continue these conversations at an upcoming academic senate meeting. In San Jose, I'm Christian Trujano for Update News.
The Bay Area's first big step towards free transfer between transit systems could be rolled out in time for the coming school year. The pilot program will need all 27 transit agency boards to approve by June. If it gets the green light, it could be a big deal for students who take public transportation. Reporter Grace Payne has a story.
Last fall, the Metropolitan Transportation Commission's Fare Integration Task Force voted unanimously to adopt equity passes for all Bay Area transit systems. That means riders would not have to pay extra fees to switch between transportation modes. Seamless Bay Area, a transit advocacy nonprofit, sees rollout of the next generation Clipper card as a critical step towards transit integration.
Pass that will allow you to use unlimited transit on any transit agency in the Bay Area for one set price. And I believe for San Jose State that'll be included in your student fees. It will allow you to use BART, Caltrain, AC Transit, VTA, whatever transit you need to use.
Phase 1 of the rollout would launch in August. The initial discussions are underway with 5 colleges and universities, including San Jose State. For students, that's a big plus.
I think it would give me the opportunity to definitely travel around in the summer, like within the Bay Area, within the San Jose area, but still make it to campus for my summer classes because I do have a full summer schedule. So
the plan is to test the program and eventually make it available to all riders. State Senator Josh Becker has introduced a bill with a deadline to make that happen.
Should have a world-class transit system. We don't right now. What are 2 things that we can do that won't cost a lot of money? Schedule integration, fare integration. That's what 917 is about. Let's remove the transfer tax and let's make it easier to navigate the system. a comprehensive transit network, a comprehensive transit map. Those are really the two initial steps that we're taking.
In San Jose, I'm Grace Pang for Update News.
When we come back,
after this break, I'll be coming up with a 7-day forecast.
When we come back, find out why it will get even harder to buy a Bay Area home as mortgage interest rates soar.
At San Jose State, we really do learn by doing. This is my first semester working on our award-winning newspaper, the Spartan Daily. But my whole time here really has been about real-world skill building. Professors like Diane Gurazi continue their work in journalism while bringing that knowledge back to us in the classroom each semester. Then we're on the Spartan Daily, Update News, or the Spear. We get to put all that into practice. We even get to work with cutting-edge tools like our new VR lab, where we get to learn new ways of real storytelling using 3D virtual reality.
Our students have many opportunities to work in newsrooms that function like the ones they will encounter in their professional careers. Here in Update News, for instance, we produce a weekly show that is aired on local access television in San Jose, and we produce video news that is digital first. Students will get experience as producers, anchors, and field reporters.
The Spartan Daily, our award-winning student newspaper, has not missed a scheduled publication date in more than 80 years and remains one of the longest-standing papers of its kind in the Western United States. Through classroom instruction and our newsroom labs, we give our students the tools to succeed and create their own bright futures. Learn by doing. If you're interested in joining our program, visit our website for more information.
The Bay Area's real estate market continues to be one of the most competitive in the country, and the prices show no sign of cooling down. There are plenty of wealthy tech company buyers who often bid way above the asking price to get a home. So what can the rest of us do now that mortgage rates are rising? Reporter Sabana Ceballos has that story.
A 30-year fixed mortgage is now topping 5%, the highest it's been in more than a decade. Homes in the Bay Area, regardless of their size and their neighborhood, are pricey. That leaves many people feeling like they have few options.
I'm not going to get a house in the Silicon Valley on my own. And the way rent is going, I won't be able to rent here at all by myself. I was born in San Jose, so, to be pushed out from San Jose to somewhere else just to be able to afford, it's sad because I grew up here.
Real estate agent Zahara Wong tells us there are many reasons why homes in the Bay Area are harder to buy than in other areas. That's even before mortgage rates started spiking.
It's a simple supply and demand issue. There are way too many buyers out shopping for the amount of available homes that are for sale. So that's why we have the increased purchase prices. That's why there's bidding wars, coupled with the interest rates.
Due to the recent increase in interest rates, high cost of living, low paying wages for many employees, and the scarcity of homes being placed for sale, the option to buy a home is low for many people. Luckily, there are some ways to increase your likelihood of buying a home in the Bay Area. First, talk with a lender to help you create a roadmap. And
finding a realtor to also explain to them the process, how everything works, give them a market update, and show them, really how to get it done at a high level.
In San Jose, I'm Sabana Ceballos for Update News.
As summer approaches, the employment picture is getting brighter now that more companies are starting to hire again. But it may not be as easy for graduating students to find work. For many, a coveted internship was their foot in the door, but because of the pandemic, many of those internships were put on pause. So what can you do? Reporter Brianna Mathal went looking for the answers.
Yes, and I put together a list of ways on how to find an internship. Because of the pandemic, many companies had their employees work from home. Some are even going back to in-person, and that means some are hiring interns again. How do you find a spot? There are many platforms online that help match college students with jobs and internships. Some popular websites are known as Handshake and LinkedIn. Those platforms help students set up an account and make a resume. The sites list jobs, and you could use them to connect with people, find mentors, and networks about future openings. You could also turn to your professors. SJSU professor Renee Siegel emails students whenever she sees an opportunity for a job or an internship.
Students typically
hear about internships through the school. A lot of professors hear about opportunities and share those with their students directly.
Those all-important internships can help you get your foot in the door of a company.
You can go about finding an internship using LinkedIn. It is a platform where you can find jobs listed from all over the world.
Making connections is one of the best ways to find internships, and I utilize LinkedIn and its capabilities of being able to find like-minded individuals in what I want to pursue in my future and finding my internship.
The best time to network for internships is right now. In San Jose, I'm Brianna Mathal with Update News.
And now we have the weather.
Good morning, I'm Cameron Landfield with the Update News forecast. Early into the week here, we're going to get some possibly record-breaking temperatures, very hot on Thursday. Then a change in patterns is going to bring us some cooling, and we'll possibly even have a chance of rain early on to next week. Into the futurecast here, we can see some clouds blowing across our region through the weekend. Clears up a bit, but then they start to return by the end of the weekend, bringing that chance of rain up north early. Then through Monday afternoon, we end up with a chance of rain all the way along our coast, along with some gusty winds along the coasts and possibly hillsides. Into the 7-day forecast for Santa Cruz, an excellent example of that big temperature difference with that coming system. We got 77 on Thursday, 74 on Friday, all the way down to 52 on Monday. For Oakland, same story, 86 on Thursday, down a little bit on Friday to 76, and all the way down to 57. You can see those gusty winds coming up here Sunday and Monday. San Francisco, same story here, 81 out on Thursday, down to 70, cooling a bit. Got those winds on Sunday and Monday, all the way crashing down to 55 on Monday. San Jose, gigantic 95 out on Thursday, super hot, all the way down to 57 on Monday. That's when our chance of rain might be hitting, so you might want to keep tuned around there. That is our Department of Meteorology and Climate Science for San Jose State forecast. Back to the desk.
And when we
Catch
are
up on
back,
what happened in SJSU athletics over spring break coming up next.
And we'll have a heartwarming story about a student from Ukraine who found a way to help her family back home escape the war. We'll be right back.
last week may have been spring break, but there was a lot of action on the playing fields. Reporter Jonathan Schaefer has your sports update.
On Wednesday, March 30th, St. Mary's shut out women's softball by a score of 2-0. The baseball team fell to Cal State University Fullerton 6-5. On Thursday, March 31st, the women's beach volleyball team split a pair of games, defeating St. Mary's 3-2 before falling to Long Beach State 3-2. On Friday, April 1st, women's softball ended its 4-game losing streak against Fresno State, shutting them out 4-0. Senior right-handed pitcher Janessa Ulegi tossed 7 shutdown innings for her 12th win of the season. Men's baseball lost in a close one against USC 6-7 in the first game of the weekend series. On Saturday, April 2nd, men's baseball were defeated 7-5 in the second game against USC of the weekend series. Women's softball went back to the losing column with a 5-1 loss in their second game against Fresno of the weekend. And lastly, on Sunday, April 3rd, women's tennis dropped its fourth straight, being shut out against UNLV by a score of 4-0. They have lost 9 of their last 10 games and own a 4-10 record with a handful of games left in the season. Women's softball lost a season series against Fresno by a score of 4-2. They have lost 6 of their last 7 games and own a 17-16 record. Men's baseball was swept by USC to finish their season series 6-2. The team has dropped under 500 for the first time this season with a record of 14-15 and have lost 4 straight. That does it for this very busy spring break of San Jose State athletics.
The war in Ukraine hits home for a member of our San Jose State community. Lena Fyung is a graduating senior who is from Ukraine. Her family had to flee the country and try to start a new life in Germany. Thousands of miles away, Fyung found a way to help them by using her social media platforms.
Fyung moved to the United States 4 years ago to study public health. She had no idea that during her last semester at San Jose State, she would have to watch her hometown crumble because of the Russian invasion. More than 6,000 miles away from Ukraine, Fyung says she felt helpless, unable to do anything to help her loved ones.
Close to my immediate family, I have a 4-year-old niece, and it was really hard for me to explain to her what's going on and stay positive while none of us knew what will happen. I felt guilty because I'm here safe and I still have to go on with my life, do my school, go to work. Meanwhile, my parents back home have to worry about their safety every single day, and they worry about every single second of their life, and it was frustrating and really miserable to not be able to do anything.
Fyung created a GoFundMe fundraiser and promoted it on her Instagram platform. The money would go to help her family's transition as they had to start all over again in Germany. Fyung initially had a goal to raise $2,000, but by social media sharing and word of mouth, she was able to exceed her goal, raising more than $3,000.
I started a GoFundMe to support my family, at least financially, but my parents were pretty upset with me, saying, "Why would you do that? People will think that we are poor or homeless." But they're still processing the crisis, so this support will be a meaningful and very helpful resource for all of us.
Fyung's family is now staying with a friend in Germany while they begin their process of starting over, thanks to the money she was able to raise through GoFundMe.
It's hard to watch the televised pictures of the atrocities being committed against the Ukrainian people. It can leave you feeling like there's little you can do, but some in the faith community say coming together to pray helps that. That's exactly what happened this week on the Stanford University campus.
The news coming out of Ukraine these days is rarely good. To cope, some people are turning to prayer. This week, organizers held a prayer service at the Stanford Memorial Church. They encouraged people to gather, sing, and pray for peace in Ukraine.
This evening's Taizé prayer was really a precious experience. This gave us a moment to really unite in prayer, no matter what language, no matter what faith, and to just profoundly plead for God's peace, that we would lay down our arms, that we would be instruments of peace.
In an effort to continue to bring a sense of peace, unity, and comfort, a Taizé prayer was offered. Its purpose was a success, as people who attended felt a comfort and safe place to pray for peace for Ukraine and its people.
The music was very solemn, and it really kind of felt like it put the perspective of the mood and the situation of what's going on in Ukraine, and we just really bringing our hearts to God to share in prayer for the people in Ukraine.
Despite the gravity of the situation, the Taizé prayer service held in the church allowed people to feel comfortable in contributing for peace for Ukraine through prayer. The attendees say they left the service feeling comforted.
Comforting, it was solemn but comforting in the way where it's I truly kind of felt like a one-on-one with God. It's so important just to stand with Ukraine, be supportive. It happens to be Ukraine, but I think people in solidarity in the world, it would be with any country.
Those in the faith community say prayers have become and continue to be a powerful tool for people to show their solidarity with Ukraine. And that does it for this week's edition of Update News.
From all of us here, thank you for joining us and see you next week.